right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor that's due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachaha, Kodash. Double honor to the elders and apostles that great millstone to rule well. Peace and blessings to the 144,000 and the hopeful elect. Shalom, Barakatham. Trump federalizes Washington, D.C., and the rumor is he's got a few more cities on the books. Okay, and it makes sense that he starts with D.C. because that's going to raise the least amount of flags in the minds of the people, because they think, if you ask the everyday person, you know, does the president have jurisdiction over Washington, D.C.? They'll say, or the federal government, I should say, they'll say yes. Okay, but technically Washington, D.C. is short for District of Columbia. All right, and really what it is, it's like it's really like a city-state. Okay, like you have city-states all over. You have Monaco, for example. Monaco over there in the south of France, that's a city-state. The Vatican City, that's a city-state. It's in Italy, but the city belongs to the city-state of Vatican City is its own city-state. Okay, and that goes back to the Greek times, the old metropolitan city-states. Okay, so when most people think about D.C. being federalized, they kind of think of, you know, that's like the federal government jurisdiction anyway, but it isn't. And so this executive order is really giving him the power to really do that to any state or any city. Okay, because if he can do that really to a city, what's to stop them from him doing it to a state? All right, where he's going to take over it. And why is he going to do it in the name of crime? Okay, which he has the ability to create. Okay, all crime is a manufacturing of roll this window up. All crime is just it's been a manufactured of Edomites, man. Okay, see, they know how to police a city where there is no crime. That's why you have the same federal laws that govern Beverly Hills, governs the south side of Chicago, governs the projects in New Orleans and various areas. Okay, the same federal laws, but why does Beverly Hills have a much different outcome in the quality of the real estate and the people that live there? Because they enforce the laws differently there. They execute them differently. Okay, and what that means is they're basically allowing the crime to take place, because they want a lot of so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans to get locked up. Okay, this is why you've had drugs and cocaine in every major city for decades and decades and decades now, man. Lots of it, man, because that Esau it's an unwritten rule by the federal government that cocaine is really it's a sanctioned underground business. It's technically illegal on the books, but it's sanctioned by the federal government because that's how it gets in here. Okay, so he decides the state of crime and everywhere really, because he runs the whole country. Okay, so when he says he's making an executive order and he's going to federalize cities in the name of crime, well, just know that he can control what crimes happen. Okay, he can pay actors, he can pay activists and operatives to do particular things that justifies him in doing things. Like, nobody believes those wildfires up over there in California were on the up and up. Okay, the No Kings protest, that was just organic. Nobody believes that you know, the was it the wildfires or like a hurricane over there in Asheville? You know, all of these things, people are saying these things are not natural. You know, they suspect this guy because he's got the power to do these things. In Revelation, the 13th chapter, it speaks about those miracles that he had power to do in the sight of the beast. Okay, and we know he has technology to make earthquakes and all kind of things, man. So he can set the staging ground for the power to go out, and then niggas start looting. Okay, he can pay a group of young nigglets to start instigating things, you know. And so this is why, I mean, you gotta watch when this guy does things, because when he puts the law on the books, that's just to justify the thing he was already gonna do, you know. It's just like he'll sign a treaty with the Native Americans, okay, and then he'll do some underhanded snake shit, like pit the tribes against one another, or accuse one of them of raping, one of their women, okay, and it's up, okay. The town of Tulsa, Oklahoma, I believe it was over a young white girl, okay. That's how the whole thing started, and they were able to take the entire town, never gave it back, nor pay reparations for it, okay. And they show you they were devils, because the people that were in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the lady that still lived there, she was like 110 years old. They still wouldn't give her reparations, man. Okay, that was a few years ago, I believe, that came up in the news. So you got to know, when this guy starts passing these laws, that's how he gets your consent to go ahead and do the wickedness. Even though he's going to do it anyway, he needs your consent to do it. Okay, and so you get ready for a lot of these cities to get to get taken over, okay? Because the guys to get the Northern Kingdom was what? It was immigration, okay? We didn't control the border, therefore, all Northern Kingdom, you got Northern Kingdom that were born here, okay? Their parents were born here, and they're still getting roped up, okay? And so that was the ploy for the Northern Kingdom. And now this time it's like, oh, the inner city crime is getting out of control. We got to do something about it. Well, it was in their power to do something about it a long time ago. It's in their power, in their hand right now, to stop all of the drugs, all of the gang violence could be shut down. Pretty much in a week, he could have this whole thing turned out. But he doesn't do it because he like the scriptures say, and was that Jeremiah 50:7, okay? It says the offenders say we offend not, because they have transgressed against the Lord. They oppress us, and they say we offend not. See if I can get it while I'm in traffic real quick. I'm butchering it. Because that's this guy's MO, man. Let me see. Yeah, it says Jeremiah 50:7, all that found them have devoured them, and their adversaries said, we offend not, because they have sinned against the Lord Yahweh. And they're going to be able to say we offend not, because they were like, well, look, they broke the law, okay? You got these clowns out here, they'll go to Romans 13 and say, you got to obey the law, you got to obey the well, that's true, all the way up until the point where we get to this charagma, which is where all of this is going, which is why all of these whatchamacallit, damn, Salakia, that's why all of these things are being consolidated. The financial system is getting consolidated. The digital world is being consolidated and linked to the physical world. Okay, and that ultimate link to the digital world and the physical world is going to be that chip, man. Okay, that's what all of this is about. That's why Lahaina got burned down in Hawaii. That's why the Palisades got burned down. That's why Tampa got ran over by that hurricane. You had two crazy ass hurricanes. One got Tampa, one got Asheville, North Carolina. Okay. That East Palestine, they never recovered any of those cities, man. These so-called natural disasters, okay? Why are they doing that? Because they're getting ready to do something crazy, man, okay? And these people are all asleep. They just think it's all good. Get rid of it. And a lot of it is these Edomites egging it on, because they don't even live in the same neighborhoods, but they're just so happy that Donald Trump is taking a stand. Like they care about righteousness, man. These people don't care about righteousness, okay? This is no different than rooting for the NFL football team, man. All of this is it's like that movie Idiocracy, man. This is like WWE wrestling. This shit ain't. These people are actors, man. Okay. All of these so-called politicians, they all got strings behind them that are being pulled by even more wicked Edomites. Okay. They're there to pacify you, man. And like the Apostle Paul said, it's high time that we wake up out of sleep in the book of Romans, okay? He says that in 1 Thessalonians, not to be sleep, okay? We're the children of the light, not of darkness, okay? So we got to lock in and see where how all of these things linked up, and that's what the men of the Lord are there for, to link all of these things together, man. So when he says he's federalizing a city, know what that means, man. That means the Constitution. They're already shitting on it, but they're getting ready to openly do it, okay? They've already been violating it, But now they're getting ready to do it in front of you, okay? And once that happens, it ain't going back. There's never been a society where it went back to the old democracy days, okay? When the Roman Empire and ancient Rome went from the Republic, okay, which you had back then, you had senators, okay, back then that voted, and you had consuls, and you had the general and the military class and stuff like that. But it was still run by the Senate pretty much, okay, as a republic. But eventually the military generals got more popularity and political power, okay, than any senator could, okay. And when these generals were able to garner so much popularity by being able to go into different lands and conquer them and take over them, okay, they became basically the kings of those armies, and whoever controlled the army basically gonna run the society. Okay, and the most popular one was Julius Caesar. When Julius Caesar went up the north, okay, his jurisdiction was north up there by the modern day Alps, by he conquered the Gauls. You know, if you go, to northern Italy, you got the Alps, and it goes up into like France and like kind of like Germany and Switzerland, that area. When he conquered that region, man, he got hella popularity, man, and he got so bold that he basically took the army that he had, and he said, I'm gonna take over the Senate, you know? And he got the famous phrase called, he crossed the Rubicon. The Rubicon is a river in Italy, okay, that basically demarked the region where Julius Caesar's army was in control of. When he marched down south, that was a sign that he was coming to take over Rome, okay, and he did, okay? He beat the, I forget the other general name, it's not Pompey, but it was another general. He beat the other general. And then once Julius Caesar got in power, it never went back to a republic. Okay, it was Julius Caesar. Then you had Augustus. All right, and then you have basically Augustus is the first one of the 12 feathers. Second, Esdras 11, 11 and 12. Okay. Then you had Augustus, Tiberius, Caligula, all of them, all the way down to the Vespasian dynasty, okay? And they were all emperors, man. They basically were kings, okay? So you gotta know when democracy is over, which it never really was a thing, but they're done selling you the illusion of democracy. They're about to just straight up tell you what it is, man, okay? And you people are not gonna like those days, okay? Because you really haven't seen the true face of the enemy yet, because you're so distracted and fat and weak, man. Okay. So watch over the next several weeks, months. You know, I see this year something major happening, especially by the fall. You know, and we'll see, man. But I just wanted to bring that out. I'll end it there. Lord willing, this is edifying. Call halal Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rachakadash Shalom. Kwam Yasharal.